there's really nothing magical about these rotations. The thing that I like is when we always have 3 of the best 5 players at every rotation. And then you can pick the time intervals. Like we have 6, 4, 4, and 6. You could adjust those down. You could have a 5-minute time period. You can do a lot of things. And if you're a league coach, you're going to want to show up with an 8-man rotation and a 7-man rotation too, because sometimes people don't make the games, right? Here's some things we haven't talked about: the political consequences of trying to use the rotation system. A lot of coaches, like if you do a bad play, they pull the player out.
Yep.
Right. And if you, or if there's a matchup, there's a lot of coaches that want to say, hey, there's a matchup. They bring this person in. I'm going to bring this person in. Well, all that kind of coaching, maybe that's a good idea. It's counter to our rotation system.
Right.
And we found that there's times when you'd have a big lineup, times you'd have a small lineup, and if it wasn't really working, it didn't. We changed it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But actually, I think it worked to our advantages because the other team is having to adjust to the changes in our team, and we actually know what the players can do.
Sure.
We've played this way in practice.
Most of the teams.
Yeah.
Most of the teams, when we were substituting, they weren't substituting. So
Right.
The guys that came in got to watch the other guys that they were going to cover. They got to watch the same players that they were going to cover play. So they
That's
saw
right.
what they could do.
Right.
Okay, the guys that were coming in, the other team hasn't seen them play. They have no idea what these guys are going to do.
Well, also, yeah.
So
We would wind up switching off. For example, like I might play a guard if they weren't a fast guard because there was a lot of overweight
right.
guys. But I'd love to drop down and play that power forward position.
Yes,
'Cause-
you like to push on people.
Well, what would happen? I got to tell you some bad things that I did. I'll tell you some of the bad things because I was a really strong pusher. I'm telling you, I'm lower center of gravity than.
As a person who has played against him for one-on-one for a number of years, I can vouch for that.
Well, I would push, and what you do is when you're pushing on somebody, what do?
They push back.
They push back, so nobody goes anywhere, which is a subject of a very famous
Yes,
altercation.
An
that I had.
altercation that you had, yes.
But anyway, if you're pushing really
Not
hard on
with me.
somebody,
Okay.
if you're pushing on one of their top players for 4 minutes, right before the last, I usually play the 4 minutes right before the last 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pushing on one of their best players for 4 minutes. That dude's tired because I walk out of the game, I'm tired.
Yes.
I'm exhausted.
Yes.
So they're tired,
Well,
And-
I have always said that if you have 5 fouls in a game and you're not using them, that's like wasting a natural resource.
I led the team in fouls. True. The worst thing I ever did was we had this rec league, and there was this big muscular, not that race makes any difference, but he was a big muscular black guy.
Yeah.
And being African American myself, I can
I
say
know,
it.
yeah, you can say that.
But he was very muscular, and he did not like me push on him. He pushed me back. He started banging his body. He was banging to me. He's going to knock me backwards. But I used to do judo, so there's a rhythm to it. He banged once, banged twice. And so what I did is I just took my toes, and I put my toes right behind his heels. And I just put my arms straight out and fell straight backwards. And he went to swing back through it. And I went there, and he tried to step back to catch himself. But my toes, I lifted my toes up, and they're pushed to the back of his heels.
Through the arms
Yeah,
out.
my arms, and he just went straight back on me. And he blew up, and they called an offensive foul on him, and we got the ball. Which, by the way, I think I should get credit for a steal, but causing an offensive foul, we never actually gave any credit for that.
That's true.
Yeah, we
That's
never
true.
gave credit for
Well,
that.
wait a minute, though. I mean, that's in a way that's a drawing a charge. That's a steal.
Well, it should have been counted as a steal.
I was like a thing. No,
But I didn't get credit for it, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
The worst thing was when we kept stats when we were out of game, but one of the other kids.
Yeah, that was well. I mean, that was.
I got
mean,
cheated a lot.
That was in a game where you weren't using the
metric yet.
the metric yet anyway.
I think it might have been, but they were
Well,
so
I
bad.
wasn't there.
You weren't there that year, but they were so bad. The other kids were so bad that I didn't get credit for everything. When I kept stats, when I was out of the game, when I kept stats, people got credit. Anyway, this guy was so livid. Halftime, I went over to apologize to him. And he said, man, you pulled me. I said, I didn't pull you down. I said, let me tell you what I did. And I told him what I did. He go, man, you did like Bill Lambier, man. You did like Bill Lambier. And so that was one of my best compliments, I guess.
Yes.
But the wonderful thing that I've learned about basketball is camaraderie, I mean, people, you might cheap shot. I mean, cheap shotting, trying to hurt somebody is never, ever.
Never good.
Never good. But, and I kind of erred on that side. I would undercut people, and I tried to get out of that habit. I really did.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say is no. I mean, in the last years, you had times where, you were physical and you would cross the line into dirty.
Yeah, I
Okay,
did.
and on the end, but at the end, you played physical but not dirty.
Well, I tried.
played physical.
I really, as a human being, as you get older, you just start just looking at yourself in the mirror and you go.
You'd say dirty is when you cheap shot people.
But
And
you know what?
You didn't.
I
cheap
never
shot.
sent anybody to the hospital. No broken. Like Brandon sent me to the hospital.
Yes, I say he broke your nose.
Well,
Right?
that one broke my nose. It cut my
Oh,
eye.
it had cut your eye?
But,
Okay.
but anyway, we're just excited about the rotation system. I think if you had to have one without the other, the rotation system is better. Whether
It is.
Even if you just said these are my best players, just because I statistically think that they're my best.
Okay, and like I'd say as a person who was a player coach
Yeah.
in a league,
Right.
okay, this is perfect because you don't have to spend any time while you're playing
Figure it out.
coming out there and like during timeouts during all the timeouts you say you come in.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. The people who
They're on the bench.
The people who are keeping track of, yes, you don't think that they're going to be watching when their minutes come in?
They know when their minutes
Dang
come.
right, they're going to watch when their minutes are coming
And they
up.
know who they're going in for.
And they know who they're coming in for, and you know when you're coming out.
Yeah.
It's a great system for that.
Yeah.
It lets you pace yourself on there.
If you're going
But-
to play 10 minutes in a row, you play it differently than if you're going to only play 6 minutes in a row or 4 minutes in a row. When I would come in there, a lot of times I'd be playing. I'm one of the bottom players. I'd be playing 4 minutes. 4 minutes. I'm only going to play 4 minutes. I can wreak havoc in 4 minutes.
But it also lets you know that, I mean, most times there's no reason not to go full out ever because if I know that I'm going to get a break in the first half
Right.
and a break in the second half,
Well, yeah, but 6
And
minutes
halftime.
is full out. 10 minutes is 95% full out. Maybe.
well, I mean, I don't know that 95% stuff.
Well, I know.
But
He played full out all the time.
Anyway,
Anyway.
but anyway, that's yeah. But
We'll stop
it's I
this.
say for a recreational league, if you're going to be a player coach, it's absolutely perfect. I think for a high school coach, it's great. It's motivational for your players, and it's not like this is written in stone. If you want to make adjustments to it based on the caliber of your team. That's certainly it's certainly
You
amenable
might
for
have,
that.
I think this 9-man rotation, I took some careful effort to make what I think is a pretty close to optimal 9-man rotation.
Oh yeah, well that's what we had. I mean,
Right.
that's what you designed that for the team that we had. I think.
Well, this one has like the first 3 players are almost getting the same playing time.
Right.
And the best 2 players are getting the breaks in the middle of the halves, which is preserving them, the most. But by all means, you can play around with these rotations all you want. I mean, I thought it was fun. I always had fun playing, and hopefully
Right.
they'll like.
And if you had, and on a rec league when you paid money to play, and if you had fun playing, and you were this assured you that you were going to get playing time, and before we did this,
Right.
you weren't sure you would get playing time.
Oh yeah, I know when I know where I am. If I might be, I'm particularly proud of the fact that all our kids' teams, by the end of almost every single one of those seasons, I was the bottom person on the thing, and not because I was a bad player, because all those young kids raised their game enough to
get
beat
to the
me
finishing,
out.
to get to the
beat me
finishing
out.
5, to get to the finishing.
Well, not
5.
necessarily. No, they weren't. 9 players on our team. They're not.
Well,
all
I'm saying
finishing
that's
5.
true, but it's true. But yes,
even the people like Chris, remember Chris, our
Yes.
3-point shooter?
that's true.
He would throw the ball away a lot, and I'd be ahead of him. But he was a great 3-point shooter, and by the end of the season, they mitigated their negative things, so I would be the last player on our team.
Right.
And if I'm the last player on our team, we had a pretty good team.
Yes, it's a self-policing system.
Yep. All right, let me.